Talk hard and enjoy the mindgasm. The Intellectual Podcast starts now.
Okay. Hi.
I kind of like the background noise, the crowd.
People making pig noises back there.
Of the fair.
It's a bit of noise.
You can hear the farm animals and the children on sugar highs.
The roar of the crowd, the smell of the carnies.
Welcome to the Intellectual Podcast, number 158, live to tape at the San Diego Fair. I'm your host, Dave Dawson. With me again is
Kristin Naomi.
And our guest today is none other than the incomparable Mark Allyn.
Hey there.
How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks.
So Mark and I grew up in the same town. We graduated from the same high school.
Whoa.
Sampled the various schools in Encinitas.
What elementary school did you go to?
Capri.
You went to Capri?
I did.
I did Flora Vista.
Okay.
Then I did DeGano, but I don't think DeGano was open when you...
Well, I'm dating myself here, but I went to Oak Crest.
Yeah.
No.
He was up on the hill. I was down in the valley.
Oh.
He graduated 84. I'm 93.
Yeah, I'm a little older.
We got some age on us.
That's okay.
Yeah. She doesn't have so much age on her.
I know.
Not yet.
But, so we were going to be doing the podcast at the Panikin.
Oh, right.
But this one over here threw a curveball at me and said, let's do it at the fair.
That's
I've never been
right.
to the fair before. You know how much crap I've been getting from other people? They're like, well, you've never been to the San Diego Fair? I'm like, I just got here not too long ago. They're like, oh, you have to
Mark
go.
used to work at the fair.
I
Really?
did.
What
I
did
did.
you? Was it like a first job of yours? Or?
Barking for the yak woman over in the... No, not really. I was actually selling tickets to get in. With teachers love to do this for a summer job.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a buddy that was in charge of the gates and admissions. And so he said, you want a job? So I did this for about 8 years, every summer, 21 days straight. And it was no sleep, because you worked, a lot of weird hours.
You made a ton of money.
And you made a ton of money, and that was your summer money, basically.
Nice, yeah.
I remember guys would come work the 21 days of the fair and then buy themselves a car.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, my car would have been maybe a Mazda GLC or something. It wasn't. I didn't make that much money, but the big bosses did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you said that we were going to do the fair, I thought, oh, we're going to be doing it from a hot tub in O'Brien Pavilion there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But, yeah.
I can't concentrate with these babies crying in the family.
Well, now I got hot tub images in my head. So you're weird about the kids. I'm weird about hot tub stuff. So.
I know I'm going to walk out of here with some new frying pans or some sort of
Well, it's definitely going to be, whatever you do, it's going to be fried, for sure.
Yes, right. They can deep fry that, too.
You can deep fry
They got the
frying
weirdest
pan.
food here, I swear.
They have deep fried nachos. How do you deep fry nachos?
You can deep fry anything.
Really?
Yeah, it's all disgusting, but you can deep fry anything.
I've been walking past and just seeing, and trying not. I'm breathing through my mouth, by the way, so I don't inhale any of this.
Kristen's a vegan.
Oh, so you're gonna pass the donut hamburger triple-decker cheeseburger,
like giant turkey legs.
Oh yeah, wrapped in bacon,
etc.
Yeah.
Wrapped in bacon.
Yeah, that's
Chocolate
probably
Even when I
covered
ate
bacon.
meat, this shit was disgusting to me.
That's about as close to vegan as you get here. Is the turkey leg with wrapped in bacon.
Yeah. No, actually, surprisingly, I think the fries are vegan. They just do the fries just as fries. And
Really?
There's corn on the cob and potatoes. That's all they have, as long as you don't go with butter. And there's actually one stand that's actually health food. They have vegan burritos, actually.
Oh, okay.
They
So I
advertise
can have some
vegan
dinner
salad.
tonight?
Oh, yeah. It's actually really good.
I haven't eaten yet today at all.
No, I suggest the health stand at the Del Mar Fair.
Health stand.
has-
Is it way in the back somewhere?
still
in the...
has- Yeah.
Tucked away in a corner,
Yeah,
hidden
nobody-
beneath the tilt-a-whirl.
Nobody goes there. It smells like patchouli.
Yeah. I've had something here. I had something deep fried, of course, and it just tastes like disappointment and despair.
Pretty much. That's about right.
See, now, I'm not a fan of the fair. I only come here like once every 10 years, and that's about all I can take.
Well, good. Then it can be my one time and your one time.
The
Perfect.
wife and I come
Check.
once a year, maybe twice. Once a year and we come at like Wednesday at 2 in the afternoon, someplace where 1 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's hardly anybody here, but we'll go and look at the exhibits, and I've turned into my parents because I want to just go to the exhibits.
You want
and
to see the art?
I want to see the art. I want to see the woodworking. Hey, that's an interesting guitar made, and then I want to get the heck out of here at that point. Look at all these kids; they're aggravating me.
I'm trying to. I have my back to them right now, so I can't see anything that's going on. It's making me a lot happier.
There's a reason we positioned ourselves where we're at.
Good spot. Right
and I
here.
threw the headphones on you, hoping that would cut down a little bit on the sounds that you're hearing. She's not a big fan of kids.
Oh well, there you go. You're in the right spot then.
Yeah, right. The best spot, I guess, in the fun zone.
I was riding the double decker in because I parked in the free parking. I'm riding the double decker in, and I'm listening to all the kids screaming, and I'm like, she's gonna regret asking to do this at the fair.
I needed to go, and I had the tickets. I needed to go. And I was like, why not?
And we're fairly busy people, so this was kind of like the only day.
This is literally now. It's a work fun day.
Statistically, this is one of the lower attendance days.
Oh, that's good.
Like Tuesdays.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
Tuesdays.
they're good.
Okay.
Well, it's like the last Tuesday.
It is.
So
Carnies are really, ramping it up now.
The musical act tonight is one of the paid ones.
Oh, is that right?
Also limits the crowd a little bit too.
Who's going to be here?
It's Charlie Pluth. He did the song for Fast and the Furious 7.
Oh.
When Paul Walker died. It's that beautiful song. He did that song. He's a great artist. If I had extra money, I'd pay and go watch him. But
they have some good bands occasionally that come in here.
Yeah,
I think Lady Antebellum was here, and I actually wanted to see them, but then I
Cool in the Gang is going to be here in a couple of days.
Oh heck yeah!
I actually worked a Cool in the Gang show in Vegas,
nice.
like in 97, 98.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, hey, he's still banging around.
Maybe
Good for
go
him.
backstage and chill. Hang with the band.
No, I never got close to the bands.
Okay.
I worked with the bands, but I never I wish I'd gotten more close. But, I don't like crowds. So, hanging out with them after the show is always weird.
There are a lot of crowds. I imagine that.
It's so funny. It's funny to think I worked concerts for most of my adult life, and I hate crowds. And I was around crowds constantly through my 20s.
Yeah, that's strange career choice.
Yeah, but I also drove trucks.
Oh.
So I would work this crazy periods where there's a ton of people, and then I'd have 4 days on the road alone.
Oh, that's
nice.
It
was like heaven.
That's nice. Okay, I get that. I get it.
Yeah. So we wanted to get you on the show now.
Yeah.
Because you've got a huge thing going on.
Yeah, you got some stuff going on, Mark.
With Showtime.
Yeah.
You're on the new show ROADIES.
I am.
Cameron Crowe, J.J. Abrams.
Winnie Holtzman. My So-Called Life.
Amazing. It's amazing.
That lineup alone.
How did you get on to ROADIES?
Strangely enough, I didn't apply for anything. A casting director out of L.A. contacted me and said that they had come across my photo profile. It must have been on L.A. Casting or something like that. And wanted to know if I'd be interested in doing a 2 or 3 day gig for a new show, and for Cameron Crowe. I said, sure, and they have this strange plan with their actors. They have the main stars, they have the supporting cast, and then they have this group of roadies that are permanent, fixtures that are always intermingling with the cast. And,
right.
Occasional, line get thrown out here and there. But so I said, sure. So I went the very first day, and a guy named Eric Johnson, who was the tour director for Neil Young and worked with Soundgarden, is the technical advisor for the show. And so he and this other lady who also worked with Pearl Jam, they pointed to me and they were talking and shaking their head and looking over, and they said, would you come here? And I went, oh, Jesus, I'm fired before I even start work. And so they said, look, we saw in your profile somewhere that you were a drummer, and I was a drummer for 20 years. And did you have any experience being a drum tech? And I said, well, back in the 80s, yeah. And when I lived in Australia, yeah, I did some drum tech work, but that was back then. And they said, well, you want to be the permanent roadie drum tech for the band.
Nice.
And I said, wait, do I have to do anything? Because I'll screw that up. And they said, no. We already have the drums actually set up. You're just going to be, acting. So they said it's a 90-day shoot. And I said, to work with, on this show, absolutely. So I talked to Cameron, and he asked the same question, and I said yes. And that's really turned into, it's going to be about 4 months when all is said and done.
Wow.
And, it's got Luke Wilson and Carla Gugino and Rafe Spall, who was in Life of Pi. Brilliant actors. Keisha Hughes, who's on Game of Thrones, and Imogen Poots. And a great cast and supporting cast.
And you just fell into it.
It literally fell into it.
That's fucking awesome.
And I,
That is so great.
It happened at the same time that Fox show Pitch was coming down to San Diego. And I had talked to the casting director, and there was some grumblings about me maybe playing a day player role as a reporter on the show. And this came up at the same time, and I thought, well, God, work in San Diego or work up in L.A. And I talked to my wife, and my wife said, you should just take the L.A. thing. Who knows? So she was right.
Yeah.
You got that recording, right?
She was right.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh.
She was right. Wifey was right. And
Anniversary
title of the
present,
episode.
check.
Yeah, that's right. So
Title of the episode. She was right.
The sad thing was that I passed up on Pitch because I had a chance to maybe be with a lot of the people I've worked with here in town, as an extra or possibly something else. But at the same time, I couldn't pass this opportunity up, and it's like a bucket list.
Cameron Crowe has San Diego pedigree anyway. So
he is from Indio High School, as well as Eric, the technical advisor. He's from San Diego, and Cameron graduated from film school from San Diego City College.
Right.
Oh, really?
So he's a local guy, and Eric's a local guy.
More and more.
And so he's he's just a groovy guy to work for. And the people that have guested on the show, Luis Guzman, Rosanna Arquette, David Spade, Rainn Wilson, Lindsey Buckingham, all these people that are just happy to be around him. It's a really positive set, and I'm going to be really sad when it's over. Hopefully, the second season we'll get a second season, and we'll be able to do it all again.
Now, it just premiered like this last weekend, right?
It did. It on the 26th on Showtime at 10 o'clock, and that's the slot for it. It's going to run for 10 episodes after the pilot,
and you come on in the next one.
I'm even in the preview.
Hey,
hey, look, everybody! There's they have a thing called a morning circle, and where the group stands around and we talk about the city we're in, or Luke does, or Ron White does, and he talks about the city that they're in, and then so that gives an opportunity for people to have reactions and act and do stuff. But I'll do whatever Cameron wants. I'm like a puppy dog now. So we're filming our last episode starting tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get some good news in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So
That's so
happy
cool.
for you. Yeah.
Now, how long have you been acting?
So I did some acting when I was back in the 80s, and I started out as a disc jockey in town for a local show and then a syndicated show. That moved into music production, and I was a music producer for a while back in the 80s and 90s. But before the music started, I did some acting, some local plays and some commercials and things like that. Mid-90s, I joined the corporate world, and I became a project manager. And I did that for years, and high tech and all that. And the last 10 years, I worked for Dell. I can say that now because they don't care if I say it. I almost did my bit where I worked for a company that sounded a lot like Smell.
Yeah.
But Dell, I worked for Dell. And they laid me off after 10 years of, work, and they gave me some severance. And my youngest son, who is 13 at the time, said, you do voices. Why don't you go back and do voice work? So I started doing voice work about a year and a half ago. Well, end of 2014.
Okay.
So I started doing commercials, and I was fortunate enough to do some audiobooks and commercials and PSAs and some light character work for video games. And
Naomi and I have been wanting to get more into voice work.
Oh, we'll definitely talk.
Yeah.
Definitely talk.
We've both been like, we don't know where to start.
Well, so the thing that was great about starting off in that business was the community of voice people. They're very welcoming, and they're happy to point you in the right direction. There's a lot of work out there.
Yeah.
So
it's like a $14 billion industry, voiceover work.
There's so many things, so many aspects of voice that you can do that, from commercials to character work to narration and everything in between. There's a chance that I'll be doing some ADR, some looping sound work for the current project I'm doing. So, there's just a ton of things. So I got the career going, and there was a lot of ups and a lot of periods where I'm down, nothing happening, and I thought, well, I'm going to just try to supplement. So I thought maybe I'll get back into doing acting. So got a manager, and then she pointed me in the right direction to get headshots and some training and or some classes, and that took off. Actually, that kind of went off and in a different direction than I thought it would, and so that's really been the all-consuming aspect of my life. So
it's amazing, man.
That's what I've been doing.
That's great.
We were talking before you found where we are.
Okay. It was a maze of just fried.
We're right behind the fried. We're right behind the fried food.
I know.
Yeah,
I can smell it.
We were talking about kind of the need for more of our community to understand the business side of what we do.
Yeah.
And I was actually mentioning to Mark that we've had conversations with Randy Davison about understanding that he's a brand, and you and I have had the same conversation for yourself. You're a brand, and just saying yes to everything's not necessarily the right thing. Understanding the quality of the work that you're putting out is reflective of the actor that you are.
Exactly.
And finding yourself in crap films can adversely affect your brand.
Yep.
You have just stumbled into like one of the best branding moments an actor in our town can have with ROADIES. Like that.
I hope so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm
still just like in awe. That
I'm very proud of it.
You got called to come out, and then first day, like, hey, be the drum tech.
Yeah.
like that's like the dream for like almost any actor to be able to just walk on, small role, expand the role. Maybe second season comes around. It gets a little bigger. Who knows? Who knows? I am putting it out there for you, but
come on, universe.
You just never know.
Right.
The universe is like crazy like that.
It is funny because this current job, I've been a working actor. That's all I care about is that I'm actually working. What I'm doing on the project really, in a way, doesn't matter. It's who I'm around and what I'm doing on set, just whatever they want me to. I've actually done some stand-in on it. I got bumped up for one of the episodes to a principal role. So, there's a lot of things that go along with that. I joined the union before I took this job. Thank God. And so, hopefully there'll be some royalties and, there's credits. And,
that's fantastic.
But I'm just happy being a working actor.
Yeah.
And
it's the dream, right?
It is. It's way beyond what I thought would happen.
Doing what you love.
Way beyond what I thought I would be doing. And at this point, I didn't expect that to happen. And I thank God, truly.
Well, it's interesting thinking of the timing of your life. Like if you'd have gone after the acting thing 15, 20 years ago, would you have had this kind of opportunity come your way?
Probably not. Probably not.
Because I know from my own experience as a roadie, you've got the look right now of a seasoned roadie. So you wouldn't have landed this role when you were younger.
That's the thing about Hollywood. That's in the industry that's painfully, I've been painfully aware, is that, hey, look, I'm not going to go after the 25-year-old roles. There is no way I'm even going to get maybe a 30-year-old role.
Right.
But, for somebody that's looking for a 40s or early 50s guy, I'm the guy. I realize and I recognize and I accept that I'm going to be the guy that's like, hey, have you ever heard of a reverse mortgage, or have you thought about Cialis, or I'm going to be that guy who's the spokesperson that's got the gray in the hair, because that's what I have.
But you're probably going to get more work now than ever, though.
There's a lot of it's like
There's
a pyramid.
so much,
The bottom of the pyramid is the people that are the 20-somethings that are out there. They're all beautiful, and they all have to compete for the same roles.
Well, there's a gajillion of them.
Right, exactly.
There's a ton of young people trying to be actors.
Yeah, and then you
They
have
fall by the wayside.
exactly
As
as you get
Weed
older.
them out.
Exactly,
Yep.
and I just have maybe you're right. The timing is that I know what roles I can go after, and I know what's going to be in my wheelhouse. So the older roles I'm going to go for, and they just happen to be looking for a guy who was the more seasoned roadie at the time. So
we had an actor on the show a long while back now, actually back in the first few months of the show, John Bradell, and he's been a working actor his whole adult life, but he's in his mid-40s now, and when we were talking, he said he's honestly hit the best period of his career.
Oh, really?
Because he's now got that grizzled, seasoned look to his face. He's got, the years and the mileage show. He feels like he's more expressive now than he's ever been in his career. And like you said, he doesn't have to compete with 5,000 other guys competing for the lead role.
Yeah, and that happened to me.
It's him and a handful of other guys at that age.
Oh, sure.
Going for these older, very cool, very interesting parts.
The roles I've been getting, and a good example is I was in a room. There was a movie that was being filmed for Lifetime called Hunt for Truth, and I think it came out last week as A Father's Secret. So it's playing on Lifetime right now. And I'm there for background, thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to work today. And they said, we need a mayor. We need somebody who's going to be like a politician mayor. And they're looking around the background, and I'm the guy who looks like Mitt Romney. Right? And so I know you weren't going to say it, but you were thinking it, weren't you? You were. And so
you're way cooler.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And so they looked at me and said, "You want to do this?" And it turned out to be a principal role. So, I have a couple of good scenes in it, and it just because I was the older guy. So
you and Merrick can play competing mayors.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Oh my God!
I would totally
in fact,
watch
I told
that
him
show.
that. I told him that when I got the role. I have a role coming up on a soap. That's not his soap that he was on. He was on Young and the Restless or something.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be on an ABC soap, and playing a doctor.
So is it General Hospital? I'm just weeding it.
Yeah,
out.
it's G.
Okay.
It's G- I just didn't know if I could say it, but
okay.
It is.
I'm allegedly. If we do that, then it's fine.
Allegedly, yes. I
Rumor
think it's
has
called.
it I'm
Rumor
appearing
has
in
it.
something on ABC.
Yeah, so it's an ABC soap, and they're talking about putting me as a doctor. So I said to Merrick that he's played a mayor, and then I played a mayor, and now he was a doctor, and then maybe I'm going to play a doctor.
Oh my gosh!
I'm kidding. I'm getting his scraps.
Oh my!
and I respect. I mean, Merrick is one of those guys that he's a benchmark for me. Randy Davison, Tony Cox, and all those guys were there for me when I started out. And my very first gig was with Merrick was on it, and so I respect a lot of these guys in San Diego doing these roles and doing roles in LA. So I am following Merrick around like a shadow.
Have you found living in San Diego but working on a show in LA difficult?
When it's in this case, it's not necessarily difficult, but yeah, it's time consuming because you have to drive up, and I do make the effort to drive back most of the time. As the week goes on in a show, like an episode, there's 9 days usually. The very first day is an early call, so I will leave early, 4 in the morning, get up there, have breakfast, and hang out. And as the week goes on, the start time is later and later, And so around Wednesday or Thursday, the call time could be 2:00 in the afternoon.
Mhm.
Well, Cameron is we run about a 12-hour day.
Absolutely. That's normal.
Sometimes 14 hours a day. So I'll stay up there.
Right.
But it's usually maybe once, maybe twice a week. But the driving, it's a necessary evil. People say, why don't you move up to L.A.? And I go, because I live in Encinitas. Have you ever seen it? But
once you've lived in Encinitas, you don't really want to live anywhere
right.
else.
So I have a son that's at San Diego, and so it's just part of the job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take whatever mileage I can write off. So
There you go.
yeah,
Well, my
but that's
dad
the
was
business part.
my
right
dad
there.
was a nuclear engineer, and he spent 3-4 days a week on the road.
Oh, sure.
Be it Palo Alto or back in Baltimore.
Oh my God.
Wherever.
Yeah.
He's just constantly flying in and out. So that's normal for
Right.
working adults,
Mhm.
right? Like,
I have
they go where the job is.
I have a
sometimes
very
it's on the road.
accepting and encouraging wife, and that I love dearly. That's been my support
Boy,
and
he's
my.
laying it on thick on the episode. I think.
Well-
I think he thinks she's going to listen.
I didn't say anniversary present for nothing. So.
Yeah. I know she's when she hears the fare, she's thinking I'm gonna buy that massage chair that's here, and I'm gonna try.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, no, she's been.
No, it's
she's been
important.
very
Yeah.
understanding and very encouraging and very supportive. Sometimes it's tough on her because she's got a kid that she's
Right.
almost a single parent at that point. And I come home at 11 or 12 at night and everybody's asleep, and so it's an adjustment. But hey, she knows this is what I'm doing, and
Well, and in the end, you're also showing your kids that pursuing your passions, pursuing your dreams
yeah, my
can
kid
pay
is
off, right?
Yeah.
And
my
Yeah.
kid is 14 and a half, going to be 15, and he is a teenager. And it's so funny because sometimes he thinks I'm cool.
right.
There's little moments
You have
of
those little blips.
yeah,
of-
when he'll see me on
coolness.
TV, or there'll be a commercial out or something like that
Mhm.
I've done, and he'll see it and he'll go, "That's cool." So he was up in Sacramento visiting some friends this weekend, and he went to go see Independence Day, and there's a commercial on before the movie for Roadies, and he told me
Yeah.
that, and I could tell that he was maybe a little bit impressed, and so or
And
a
you're
little
in
I
the
was
preview,
I was a
right?
little
You
bit
said?
yeah, I think I was in the preview, so.
Nice.
He was with a friend of his, and
Very
I thought,
cool.
okay, I'll take being cool for 5 minutes here. That's cool. I'll
Yeah.
Right? Take what you can get, man. He's in prime teenager age. Whatever coolness, like cool points you can get at this point, take it. Just take it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's cool. And you know what? It's not just always as cut and dry as go to college, get a job, work 9 to 5. It doesn't always go that way, especially with, our creative community. That's not how it goes.
Right.
And so it's kind of cool that you're combining the two now with Roadies. It's like that was your old life and now this is your new life and you're combining the two. I mean,
Right.
I'd probably give you 5 minutes of cool points. I would
I'll take those two.
All right.
Just stick them in the pocket,
Yeah.
hold them
Yep.
for later.
Yeah, that's right. I'll pull that card out later.
Mhm.
So, when you were doing acting when you were younger,
Yeah.
you mentioned you did some plays
Yeah.
and whatnot in the area.
Yeah.
What theaters did you do them in?
North County,
North Coast Rep?
the North Coast Rep.
Were
and
they
then-
still in the little strip mall back then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loma Santa Fe.
They
or-
haven't moved.
No.
You've not been to North Coast Rep, right?
I have
No.
not. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's 2 exits up the road from where we're at right now.
Okay.
It's behind the Ross
Yeah.
in Solana Beach,
Okay.
and they basically gutted out like the back corner of this strip mall,
Right.
like tore all the
Okay.
walls out and created a little stage and like 100-seat theater.
Huh.
But it gets better.
Brian
Okay.
was the master electrician there for like 2 years
Oh,
back in the late 90s.
no way.
My brother-in-law.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was the Spreckles Theater
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
downtown, the Fox Theater, but those were like little bit parts, and I'm sure probably somebody's backyard.
Right.
I don't-
Haven't we all?
Right. Yeah. And it was a different time back then for plays, and
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's what they were.
This whole area was just very, very different back then.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
The sheer volume of people that we have in the county now is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's amazing how.
I mean, when I moved to Encinitas, it was the second anniversary of it becoming a town or
Oh, really?
a city or what, like officially designated as a city.
Yeah,
Everybody's wearing those shirts that said Encinitas 2.
I had been there since the late 70s, and I watched it explode like that.
And so you remember all the flower fields.
Oh yeah, I do.
Encinitas used to be called the flower capital of the world.
Oh, wow.
And 90% of the world's poinsettias came from Encinitas.
Dang.
What's funny is that's exactly what I've said verbatim,
That's so
starting with
weird.
the flower fields and then saying it used to be the flower capital of the world, and then I'd go into the 90% of the world's poinsettias. That's funny.
Because
That's
it's
so
true.
odd.
It's exactly
So
true.
I got my Christmas flowers from
where we
California.
lived. Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, because they always came in those pots.
That's it. They came from
odd.
Encinitas.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But why are they Christmas flowers then? It makes no sense to me. I'm like,
Well, there were always Christmas flowers before they started growing them in Encinitas, but they started growing them in Encinitas.
Oh.
There's a main street down, what they would call newer Encinitas, the El Camino Real.
Oh, okay.
For
the east of the 5 side,
Right.
which
So-
is where I grew up.
Yeah, okay, there you go. So for El Camino Real, Encinitas Boulevard, down to La Costa Avenue is a 4.5 mile stretch. It used to be nothing but multicolored rows of flowers.
Wow.
All sorts.
Yeah.
So I know. Boy, that brought us down, didn't it?
Yeah, I want to see all the flowers. I want to take pictures of those
Well,
flowers.
it was gorgeous. I remember when I first moved in, there were still a lot of them, but over the course of the late 80s and throughout the 90s, the parents who owned all the land for all the different flower fields, they were dying, and the children decided that it was too expensive to grow flowers in Encinitas compared to the money they could make on the land.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so, section by section, Encinitas watched the flower business get migrated to Colombia
Yeah.
and Venezuela
Exactly.
and all these South American countries. And the land that the flower fields were on sold to developers for millions and millions of dollars. And that's when all the different shopping centers went in, and then all the homes.
And I have people that come to town that say, "Oh, I want to go to Carlsbad, the flower fields,"
You know,
and I refuse to go there. I refuse to go there. I'm not going to pay money. I just
They
won't.
charge for that?
They do. No, I'm sure the charge goes back to agriculture or something.
Hopefully.
I'd like to think it's a nonprofit, but it's probably not. And I just refuse to
To
pay
be fair,
anything.
it's a huge, vast expanse of tulips
Yeah.
that they grow there.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know, and they can't sustain that big giant piece
Right.
of property
Yeah.
without turning it into something of a tourist thing. And
Yeah.
since it's right next to Legoland and right next to the I-5,
Yeah, that makes sense.
you know, it's right behind that it's not an outlet mall,
Yeah.
but
That's a big place too.
that big mall right there.
Yeah.
You know, they make the most of it. And that's why those flower fields still exist.
And so I won't go.
And they're beautiful.
They're beautiful, but I just can't get over that hump. The beauty remains in my head.
You know, the secret is you can go up on the road behind the flower fields,
Ah.
and there's viewpoints to look down into it.
I could
Nice.
probably sneak in there when it's dark and
Great
closed.
place to watch the sunset. Actually,
It is. It is. It's beautiful. I mean, it's some incredible sunsets from that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been crazy how all that area has changed. Remember, La Costa Canyon didn't exist,
Yeah.
and all that Mission Estancia and all that area back
La
there by
Costa Valley
Stagecoach.
didn't exist.
And none of that was there.
There used to be a farm in that little area of La Costa Valley. I used to go there on my dirt bike,
Mhm.
and there was a bobcat I saw there, or mountain lion. It was whether the tan ones, mountain
Yeah,
lion.
there were all kinds of crazy wild
I mean, it was
animals in
crazy
the area
back
when
then.
we were growing
Oh
up.
my God! My father had a store, which was down on La Costa Avenue. There was a little shopping mall that was there, and my father had a store that was it's called the Marketplace. That he was leased part of it from another guy who ended up starting Harvest Ranch Market.
Okay.
So I just remember it. My mother worked as a staff accountant for the country club, and that was kind of my life there. We actually originally lived in La Costa,
Mm-hmm.
so that had nothing there. There was nothing there.
Right.
And then, El Camino Real was the main drag was a 4-lane road, and that was it. Or, 2-lane road.
So interesting.
Man.
So interesting. Did you surf growing up?
I did. Not very well, but I did.
I was explaining to Naomi how different high school was for us.
Oh, yeah, you
that
guys got to go
we
out
had surf
to the gym.
PE.
Oh,
You had the option of doing surf
Oh
for PE class.
I did do some
most
surf
of the time
PE.
we couldn't go outside.
You did surf PE.
and We
You
couldn't
did
go
surf
outside
PE.
for PE because it was too cold or too snowy or too rainy or there was a tornado happening. And
Where was this?
Chicago.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Not good surf there.
No,
No.
not to, you just don't want to go in any freshwater source.
The thing about our high school was that
You could see
you
the
had
ocean.
you could see the ocean
Gorgeous.
and you had open campus,
Oh, that's wonderful.
which meant you could leave at any time.
Yep.
And that was a deadly thing for me.
Yeah, I left all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean I would roll in
Second
after,
I got a car, I was gone all the time.
Oh yeah, I'd roll in after surfing or body surfing or whatever, just hanging out.
Yeah.
And there was, it was devastating. You had something called summeritis, where about March,
Mhm.
and you could see the ocean, and it would just be crystal clear out and beautiful, and you'd go, they're not going to miss me today. They're not, and but you say that too often, and you get in trouble. So
Yeah.
I'm not condoning that behavior, and my kid's got to stay in school. His lot in life is he has to live with a dad who went through it all,
Right.
and there's very little room for him to get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard to sit in class. I remember sitting in my algebra class, and we were up on the hill
Uh-huh.
in the little bungalow
Yeah.
setups.
The portables.
Yeah, the portables. And I remember my desk sat right next to the window, and I would
Man.
sit there in algebra class, bored out of my mind, staring at the sun glistening on the ocean in the distance,
Oh my god.
going, "I'm leaving at break. I'm not coming back for history.
No,
This is it. I'm done. No history today."
I can relate.
It was so
I think
hard.
I can. So that's what we did.
Man. Yeah, I was just happy I was inside because I was warm.
Oh yeah, that's true. You had
What?
snow days though, didn't you?
Yeah, but you guys have like fire days and stuff.
We had
and-
surf days.
Yeah, we didn't really have fire days back then. We didn't have the kind of fires, the wildfires that we've had.
I don't
lately.
remember a major fire when
Yeah.
I was growing up.
Well, because the
going through school.
reason they're so bad now is they suppressed them all through our
Yeah.
youth.
Yeah,
And now they go, poof. Nobody can stop them.
That's
man.
right.
That's awesome. It's definitely. I mean, snow days. When I was younger, there was actually more of 4 seasons
Mhm.
in the Midwest. Now it's just really cold, really hot.
Yeah.
It's getting rid of fall and spring slowly, which sucks. But nowadays snow days are not good. I left. It was 50 below that winter.
Oh
So
my
now when you have snow
God.
days, you're
She
like,
left
you don't
like
even want
after
to
the
leave
polar
your
vortex
house.
thing.
Oh really?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm thinking the Day After Tomorrow movie where it just sucks all the Arctic air in
Pretty
and you
much.
freeze
Yep.
instantaneously.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that what it? Oh my
Oh,
God.
it sucks.
So I was back in Chicago a couple years ago
Mhm.
working for that company that sounds a lot like Smell.
Yeah.
And it was 9 degrees below
Mhm.
and plus a wind chill. So
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do math because I didn't attend those classes. I was too busy surfing. And then, so and it's the coldest I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, my jaw hurt. And
Yep.
I
bones hurt. Ugh.
the team that I was with decided to play a joke on me. They wanted me to meet them for dinner at Harry Carey's or something like that.
Mhm.
And I was at a hotel that I thought was a block away. They told me it was a block away. It's just walking distance.
Block. They meant city block.
Well, they meant six city blocks.
Oh.
They really wanted me to get cold, so I got cold. I couldn't even swear at them. I couldn't talk.
Yeah, that's pretty.
So
much,
I can't believe how you could do that day after day, year after year.
Yeah, you get to a point. I'm
Yeah.
I'm a warm weather person too, so I can only go so far. So I'm.
She
Snow,
says,
snow
sitting in
days
her
here.
sundress.
I know. I'm sitting in my sundress. I'm like, hey, I'm sitting basically next to the ocean. Like, oh man, burr.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah. No, it's wonderful. That's why I'm here. I love San Diego. I absolutely adore it. So, your guys' snow days to you, it's like, you go up to, what's that, Julian or something when it snows. Everyone's like, oh my God, snow. And they like all run there and they, the whole town shuts down because there's
2 Januaries ago, on
couple
New
hundred
Year's,
people there.
There was all that snow.
Yeah,
Remember, everybody
yeah.
ran up to Alpine
they
and
ran out of gas.
Palomar and
Yeah.
whatever.
They literally the gas station ran out of gas because no one could fill it anymore. So it's cute here. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, snow.
Is that patronizing at all?
No. I think it's adorable. It's actually, I know it sounds sarcastic, but it's really cute.
It only sounds sarcastic because she can't quite get the Chicagoan out of her.
Oh, there you go.
Not when I'm talking about snow. It's not going to happen.
Well, I'll have you know, in 1982, it snowed at San Diego.
What?
Yes, it did.
Wow.
We had an El Nino year, and it was the year that it tore up all the beaches. So the weather was just crazy, and it snowed one day. Now,
I remember it snowing in 1989 at Degano.
Yeah.
And I was in...
What the heck?
I was in social studies class. And I'm like, holy shit, it's snowing. Out the door I went. Yeah. Everybody followed out.
It was almost like...
all the classrooms piled out.
Oh, yeah.
All of Degano Junior High School just piled out of the rooms for the, handful of flakes that melted as soon as they touched you.
Yeah, you were lucky if it hit the ground
was just
for 5
stunned.
minutes. But it snowed.
It's snowing. Oh my God!
And not hail. We knew the difference.
Yeah.
So
we had a tornado in that year as well.
Wow.
We had a tornado go through a little community that I live in called Village Park, and it tore up all the trees. And my mother is from Indiana.
That was 82. You're still talking about 82.
And my mother has seen tornadoes and all that.
Oh yeah.
And so it was a nice summer evening. And the doors were open, and we heard this, what sounded, I swear, like a train. And so I looked at her, and she looked like she had seen a ghost. And I said, what's going on? And she says, well, you wouldn't believe me if I told you what I thought it was. And so the next morning, we went outside, and shingles were off roofs, but the trees that lined this meridian down this main road were all twisted off and ripped off. So we had a tornado that went through it. We have your weather. We have your...
You're good.
We just,
Just rare.
Exactly.
It's rare.
Yeah, it's just...
But we get it.
You're good. That's perfect.
Once
You've
in a while.
been there, done that, got out of the way. I don't want people moving from the West Coast to the the Mid Coast or the East Coast. They
Mostly
get too
she's
cold.
bummed right now because she hasn't really felt an earthquake yet.
No, we
yeah.
left. We were at the one time I go to the Grand Canyon. I missed the California earthquake in San Diego.
There'll be more.
I hope so.
Yeah, oh, sure. No,
I sleep through most of
I do
them.
too. I might wake up and go, oh, that was
They're
an
really
earthquake.
not that big a deal.
I know.
I don't think so. I just
wanna, I just want to feel it. Like a
You-
nice little foot massage,
You'll get a foot massage. You'll get one. The earthquakes here can be, I don't know, interesting, right?
Well, there was the one really good one like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, the 7.2.
Yeah, that one that hit out by
El Centro.
Calexico.
Yeah, right.
That one was fun. It was Easter Sunday, I think.
That's right. I remember.
I was standing in my sister's. I was at my sister's apartment in Leucadia, and I was standing on one side of the living room, and my brother-in-law was all the way on the other side in the front door, and stuff started to kind of just jiggle a little bit. And I looked at Brian. I'm like, "That an earthquake?" He's like, "I think so." I'm like, "Well, this is kind of cool," and it just kind of keeps going.
But then it
And
picked
it
up.
kept going. We're like, it's not stopping. And then it's like, there's a big jolt. And we're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Everything on the wall started to shake. And then it's just like, and it kept going for it was like a minute and a half.
I had
It
remembered.
was the best earthquake I've ever ridden through.
Wow.
It was.
And at the end of it, Brian goes, maybe I shouldn't have stayed in the doorway with the door open.
Wow.
Like, oh, yeah. We forgot all our earthquake safety tips. That's great.
Way to go, B.
I would have stopped, dropped, and rolled. I would have forgotten. I would have done exactly
Mark,
the wrong
you're not
one.
on fire. What are you doing?
Which one is it?
I'm
Right?
standing literally by the big sliding glass doors.
Right. Who has a
on my
bathtub?
back, and Brian's standing in the front doorway with the door wide open, and everything's shaking and shattering.
My gosh.
And we didn't even think to get away from the danger
Grab a
spots.
mattress or something? No, nothing.
No.
That's,
'Cause it was
isn't
too
that a
much fun.
tornado?
Oh yeah. Well, now I'm getting mine. I'm getting mine mixed up now too. I have no idea what I'm
Hop in
going to
the
do.
cast iron tub and put the
You're
mattress over you.
Over me. Yes.
I remember that when I lived in Ohio.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I actually went back in July one year, 4th of July weekend, for this little town that my family's from, Union City, Indiana, population of like -3. Just a small town.
Yeah.
I
But
got
it looks
family
like
in New Palestine.
Okay, so it's like a John Cougar Mellencamp video, and we actually saw tornadoes touch the ground.
Yeah.
And my kid, who was always saying at the time, I think he was like 11, I think tornadoes would be cool. As soon as he saw one touch down, which was miles away, but still in the
You
big
see
enough
the
to see.
distraction.
I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I would be freaking out at tornadoes more than earthquakes. The earthquake that you're talking about was, I sat there with my wife and we were kind of watching, we were feeling it roll. And then when it picked up, it's the first time in a long time I thought, maybe I need to do something here.
Oh, man.
What was that thing they told me? Stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah, right.
Put a mattress in the bathtub for something. I was
sit under your desk.
And by the time I decided that, hey, we should get up.
And cover.
Yeah. That was it. So that was my experience.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I hope I'm with you when you feel your first.
That'd be great.
I would love
That'd
to.
be great.
I would love to have that experience with you.
Just see my face, like, what's going on?
There was one at like 1 o'clock a couple of weeks ago, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I felt the bed move, and I kind of.
Well, yeah, that was the one when we were in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, and I said, I touched my wife, like, "Hey, honey," she's like, "No."
Wow. Honey, it's not that kind of earthquake.
Like, wait, no, it's yeah. I'm not an opportunist here, but did you feel that? So
This could possibly be the last time we're ever together.
Like, you didn't make the earth move, Mark.
Right. That's exactly right. Do I get credit for that? Any? No.
That would be convenient timing, not going to lie.
Yeah, I thought
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. That was all me, honey.
That was
all
the earth.
Me.
Yeah.
That was,
That's so funny.
And it was 30 seconds too, just strangely enough.
Oh my God.
Coincidence? I think not. Anyways.
No.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, yes.
There's considerably fewer kids screaming around right
I know,
now.
it's great.
It's weird.
It's fantastic.
All sugared out.
I guess the little mini rodeo thing.
You
is
can only
over.
give them so much funnel cake, and then you gotta,
They gotta pass out.
they're all passed out. They run around and they pass out.
Oh yeah. And that rodeo over there is actually a pig rodeo.
Pig rodeo.
It's little
Are you
piglets.
serious right
Pot-bellied
now?
pigs.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't either.
Did they let you bring that water in?
No, I had to dump it out.
They harassed.
They were like, you
David,
can refill it.
That
in
guy
there.
was pissed at me.
Yeah, he was. Well, he got to do his job. He was also
God.
thinking, "What do I do? Stop, drop, and roll, or how do I
He was
stop this guy from
so
bringing in?"
aggravated with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Nothing that's not sealed. You can't bring that in. I'm like, okay.
He said no.
It's like, you're going to have to
he said
empty
no
that out
open
or
containers.
chug it really fast.
That's
I'm like,
right.
This thing closes, so it said no open containers. I'm like,
No, he said
no
sealed.
containers that can open.
He
or
said
no-
sealed.
It didn't say sealed on the sign.
see.
It does not say sealed. It says no open containers. Well, this technically is not an open container
I
because
thought it was fine.
it's closed.
I have a glass water
Did you do
bottle, too.
pre-law or something? That was brilliant.
Well,
Yeah,
might have
that was-
dabbled.
Oh, there it is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I brought in tons of water for myself, and then I had to feed the plants.
That's right.
Well, then you're just helping the earth. So there's water around here somewhere. They were like, you can fill it in the inside. I'm like,
Wah,
where?
wah.
There's probably like one filling station. And it's like hidden in
It
here
is.
somewhere.
It is, and it's
It's
fried
under
water.
the tilt-a-whirl, and it's deep fried water.
Deep fried water.
I did watch some guys on YouTube the other day. They deep fried water.
You can do that?
They figured out how to
How
do
do you
it.
deep fry? That's
They
Isn't
ate
it
it,
a-
and they're like, oh, it just tastes
Well-
like crappy water.
Well, no, because you can do. I know that everyone's doing those the water drops or the teardrops cakes, and those are like a gelatin over. You could kind of you could probably
Well,
fry that.
they figured out how to bread it. So they encased it in a breading and dropped a bunch of water in breading into the fryer and fried it up.
This is what we're doing as a people right now. Like this is why I saw a woman.
Science experiments,
I'm not
you
even
can
joking.
do at home.
I saw a woman walking around. Of course, this blonde woman. Maybe she's a little more voluptuous, if you will, on the top side. And she's walking around with a T-shirt that says "America, deal with it."
oh, there you go.
What? I don't even know what that means.
Deal
What
with-
does that even mean? America, deal with it.
To get to America, you have to get through her first.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people would want to
Yeah.
get through her first.
Is
But
that-
I mean, it was just I saw it. I just laughed, and she kind of like gave me this like kind of mug face. Like, well,
America.
I'm dealing with it right now. This is how I deal with it. I laugh at the problem. So
Stop,
get-
drop, and roll.
Stop,
That's how I deal with everything.
Can you imagine if I just got like nervous and stop, drop, and rolled at like every issue I was having? Like, there's no water, and I just stop, drop, and rolled until they
That's a
they
good
might
one.
just let me in. They're
They-
just like, all right, she's
Something's going on.
she's
And-
having a nervous kind of breakdown.
or there's
going to
be some sort of tornado or something.
Yeah,
coming
right?
in.
She's predicting the weather. Just let her in.
Anytime anything happens now, like on a major scale in town, I'm gonna be like, Mark, Mark, stop, dropping, and rolling right now.
Yeah, right. Anytime.
Yeah, stop, dropping, and rolling. I can totally picture it. I know what's going on. I'm going to text him and like, you just stop, drop, and roll?
Yeah.
SDR. You're going to see a little text from me. SDR.
SDR. WWMD. Mark would stop SDR. That's what he would do.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, my gosh.
So all three of us worked on a film. We were all in the same film. I don't know if you guys have put that together, but we were all on the Daydream Hotel.
Yes.
Oh, right. That's
I was the
right.
only actor not to act in the
hotel.
In the hotel. I was the only actor
Dang.
to not do any. I think
You were great, though.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would like to get a copy of that at some point, but
Wouldn't everybody?
yeah. But it was kind of.
Barry, we're talking to you.
We love you, Tony.
We love you, and I think the world of him. I thought what he did was really ambitious.
It's a Herculean effort that he put in
Absolutely,
to put that film together.
And to take the chance with, his acting students, or the media students or whatever, to have it put together and come out like it did was monumental.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really impressed, and so the concept was attractive for me. I wanted to be a part of it, so I was lucky to get to do the game show thing.
Well, I started out in college studying secondary education, so I originally was going to be a teacher. That was my original thought. So there's always still some part of me that admires teaching, and I try to mentor as much as I can.
Right,
so
because when you were on set a couple times.
When I saw what they were doing down there, I said to Lori, I'm like, hey, I can come down and help out, whatever you guys need. And so I came down and, Tony's like, oh, your stuff. And you're good with the kids, can you come back for more?
I think it was really good because it gave him another perspective. Days. I mean, Tony's great at what he does too, but it was great to have somebody else like you come in that knows his stuff, and they're like a sponge at that. I remember one of the dance scenes or one of the lawn scenes. I think you took over.
I shot the scenes where the girl's singing.
Right, Liquid Gold.
Liquid Gold. Yeah. And I shot the dinner scene in the big grand ballroom,
which
gorgeous.
Wasn't it? It was amazing.
Stunning.
It was amazing.
The crown room.
The crown room. That's
it was.
I was
beautiful.
I was so like. Tony's like, can you come and work that day, because our regular kid who does the DPing is not going to be there.
Yeah.
And so I'd really like to have you DP it. And I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
First DP to work in the crown room in like 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to bring my dolly and my crane.
It was beautiful. That was probably the most beautiful scene in the whole movie.
Thanks.
No, seriously.
Thanks. Yeah, I just swallowed up that opportunity. I was like, I'm going to make this as pretty as I can.
I tried to help out a little bit on when I had some time off or I wasn't doing another project. I actually did some help with lighting or
it was a real like everybody just
sound.
Kind of get in there and
it's like why
roll
not?
Up your sleeves and help make it happen. Which I really admired. I thought that was a lot of fun, and I thought it was a good lesson for the kids that were working on the film. To do whatever it takes to get it.
Oh, sure, sure. The commitment thing. Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to see the finished product. I know that he was, when we had it at the Coronado Film Festival, it was, maybe 75% there.
He literally played that off the edit machine that night.
Did he?
Like they dragged the editing computer into the theater because he didn't have time to even export it.
Well, just to render it, it take forever. But, I applaud him. I mean, I don't think anybody's done anything like that in a long, long time. Yeah.
Having done a feature myself 10 years ago in town, I recognize the effort that he had to put forward to make that happen. It's amazing for any film to get anywhere close to the finish line.
Yeah.
And to have the challenges he had trying to make that with a tiny, tiny crew, a lot of students, it's amazing what he was able
in the
to
timeline that he made it in.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 45 or 63 days or so. I forget what it was, but it was the equivalent of a normal shoot.
Yeah.
And he got it done.
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So hopefully we can see the fully finished product soon. Tony Perry, we're talking to you.
please, please, please.
But I just thought it was kind of fun to think, we actually have all worked on a film together.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you. I don't think I knew that you worked on it.
I was the game show host at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So
he's the one that sent them there.
Sent them, onto to the fantasy of their dreams, and all that was pretty much improv. There's a commercial that we do that I made up on the spot that Tony wanted me to just kind of riff on, like the old 50s style, where the moderator or the host would walk over to a product and say, "Hey, folks, have you tried this?" So we just had a lot of fun doing it. I had no idea what was going to go on, and I've worked with Jake before, Jacob Young, and he's, I just really love working with him. Yeah, and to work with other actors that I admire, it was a great experience.
Yeah, it was a good group of people. I learned about last minute, and there was no way I was not going to be a part of it. I was like, whatever, I can just get in there and do. So
that's great.
Yeah,
well, you were one of the reporters when they arrived, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it was just fun. I was just really wanting to be there, and I had never been in the hotel before, and I knew who was working on it, so they're all my friends. I'm like, okay, there's no way. I'm definitely going to be a part of it. And Lori was like, do you want to do this? I was like, yeah, of course. I was like, why wouldn't I? So it was really fun working with Tony, and the kids were really great. I was really surprised. They were very professional, and they were very, they were nice, and they were fun, and they had a great time, so.
Sure.
And they threw Lori in there, too, and they were like, you look like her mom, and then she wound up being the mom. I was like, all right.
Well, what was funny was that Lori and I showed up at Tony's studio setup on the same day to just see if we're going to get a role or something, And he said, I'm really looking for a producer, too. And she said, I'll do it. And that's what happened.
Lori.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do it.
And she took it, and she was amazing. And Lori is one of my wives in town. I have 4 or 5. 4
Must
now.
Be nice.
Jennifer Scabetta and Michelle.
Lisa, probably.
No.
Lisa Linens is not one of yours?
No. Lori.
I find that so surprising.
I know.
Debbie. Let's see. Michelle. And Jennifer. Yeah, so there's 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, soon you'll have 2 more. Lisa Winans.
If there's a punch
Marcy
card
Brown,
I can get.
Oh, my gosh.
I did work with Lisa on a Zoolander promo project.
Yeah.
So I got to work with her finally.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. All of your wives are sweet.
They're
that's a great group of ladies you got there.
I think they're awesome.
Yeah.
The talent in this town is really amazing. Really amazing. And I think that it gets overlooked really easily. There's a ton of people in LA, and it's just the numbers. Sure, there's great actors there, but there's a lot of people there that are not. And I think the ratio good actors here is better than in LA.
Right. We have a smaller pool, but the overall quality
is
much higher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we just got to start elevating the work.
Well, and you were talking about brand, and I think that a lot of I might get myself in trouble here, but I think there needs to be more of a business side to each project, and even when you're approaching the acting, you have a brand. You mentioned the word brand, and I think that's the magic word. I approached this when I started as a business because I actually had a business for a while, and I know about marketing and whatnot, and I think that's just as important as as the acting projects you take. You could take. Seems like you could take a lot of projects nowadays, but the quality might not be there.
Right.
And you gotta consider that aspect when you're building your brand.
Right. And what's the end game with any project?
Right.
I mean, as an actor, you can always go with the end game for you of, well, I need the experience. I want to work with a different director or whatever. But the project itself, what is that director, what is that producer's end game with the project? Is it something that's actually going to get completed?
Right.
Because I know a lot of people complain.
In a timely fashion.
In some sort of timely fashion. Yeah. And is there a strategy in place for it being seen anywhere?
Right.
And I laugh every time people are like, oh, yeah, we're going to make this, and it's going to be submitted to Sundance, and we're going to submit it to Tribeca, and we're going to submit it to this and this. And it's like, well, that's really nice.
Right.
Yeah.
And it costs money.
But
there's a budget that would.
You're not paying me to act in this, and
Right.
I know your budget is zero for the production, so where's the money coming from to submit to those amazing festivals that are like $80 to enter into? And let's face it, the chances of those getting in are nil.
Right. Right.
A no budgeted film making it into Sundance these days is really, really hard to fathom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because even the independent films that go into Sundance are not made on a shoestring budget.
Exactly.
They've got fairly substantial budgets behind them.
Mm-hmm.
For independent standards, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, or $1 million, or $2 million.
Yeah.
I mean, Hollywood views $1 to $5 million as an independent budget.
Right. Right.
So.
But so I think there just needs to be plans behind a lot of the projects that are out there, and some have it and some don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I know people want to get credits and IMDb credits and stuff for the reel, but even that's not guaranteed. A lot of times, there's projects I've been on where I still haven't seen the.
Yep.
Good intentions. You just want them to kind of fall through because you're going out there and giving them your craft,
Exactly.
and you're not charging for it. You're not getting any money, so you hope there's something substantial as far as the plan goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, words of advice from Mark Allyn. Get better at business.
Get better at business. Stop, drop, and roll.
Stop.
Tell your wife she's right.
Wow, you remembered that.
Yeah, no problem.
Well,
I'm a woman. I remember that.
Yes, that's right. Now I'm starting to panic, and I'm almost going to go into the stop, drop, and roll thing here.
He's going to roll right into the closet here and close
Right.
the door. But Mark, it's been really great chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
Fun to have a fellow Encinitas boy on the show.
I had no idea. I had no idea,
Yeah,
but
this was cute. This was like a high school reunion. It was adorable.
we've been circling in similar orbits for a long time, but like this is the longest we've ever spoken to each other.
That's true, and
we've said hello at functions and stuff, and like, hey, you're in Encinitas, right? I grew up in Encinitas, and like that was like the extent of it. A little bit of Facebook messaging and.
Yeah, it's been an absolute blast. I mean, thank you very much for having me on this. I've always, I actually listen.
You're the one.
I'm the guy.
Great.
And it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, no, it's great. And as your career continues to progress, I hope that you'll come back and talk to us more about all the new experiences that you're having.
Absolutely.
And you have your own podcast as well.
Yeah.
You want to share that with everybody?
Sure. We're going to be starting up a second season of a podcast called A Couple of Regular Guys, myself and another guy named Dan Pastel. And Dan's, 50-something guy. I'm 50 almost. And it's a show about nothing. We don't talk about sports or religion or politics. And we just kind of shoot the shit, pardon the expression. Beep that out later. Yeah. And, right, exactly. And hopefully something good comes out of it. It's really lighthearted, and we interview interesting people that have interesting lives, and we just talk for maybe an hour or a half hour. If we get tired, we're like, okay, that's enough. But it's a couple of regular guys.
Regular guys would do.
Yeah, exactly it.
Hey, do you want a sandwich? Yeah, we're good. Yeah, let's get a sandwich.
That's pretty much it. So that's it's on iTunes, and the second season will be starting up in August. And
cool.
Just whenever we get around to it.
Yeah. Well, I hope people check it out.
Yeah, and I hope.
I will.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You'll be the two. You'll be the two.
Yep, we'll be the two. I listen to you.
We'll try not to listen together. So.
Oh, that.
Bump those numbers
Yeah,
up.
we'll bump those.
There you go.
up.
Wow, there's 6 people. Who are the 6?
Wow. Yeah.
So cool. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you
And
so
all
much,
the
Mark.
best,
Appreciate it.
Success for Roadies.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
going to start tuning in this week now that we're back in town.
Absolutely.
Sundays at 10.
I mean, I don't mind having a preview night. We got together for America. I don't see why we get together for.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
We should
yeah.
throw a party
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the
this Sunday night.
the first episode after the pilot
Your
starts.
roadies can have groupies.
That's interesting concept. Yes, starting with my wife.
Yay! Exactly.
No, Sundays at 10 o'clock on Showtime, and there is or on demand. They already have a couple episodes up there right now.
Oh, is your episode up on?
Not yet.
No,
my
everybody
episode
catch up
is
on Roadies, and then we'll
the 24th. I think it is. So I think that's when my special one, a very special Roadies.
Let's do a party.
Let's do it.
Roadies.
Okay, we'll figure this out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right. Done
You
and
heard
done.
it here on the Intellectual Podcast. We're going to do a freaking party.
Yes.
Celebrate Mark being on Roadies.
Yes. Screening party.
Yeah, we'll make that happen. We'll
All
let
right.
you know in a future episode. And so we're going to go enjoy the fair for a little bit.
Whee! And I just threw up a little bit. And I'm shot, drop, and rolled. And now I'm in my own puke. This is not a good idea.
Better than fair food.
Until next week, I'm your host, Dave Dawson.
And I'm Kristin Naomi.
You've been listening to the Intellectual Podcast. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
See you later, guys.
Hello there, citizens. I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the floaty that will not flush no matter how many times you try in the toilet bowl of crime. I am Darkwing Duck, telling you please, talk hard and enjoy the mindgasm. Whatever the heck that means. After all, you are watching Intellectual Podcast with your ears.